Let's face it, you're tired of how long it takes to cook your food, you're tired of messing up meal prep, and you're looking at meal services, but you don't know where to start because there's so many out there. You want something that's not only value, but also is good for the gains, of course, and something that tastes good. So lucky for you, I've tried things like Cook Unity, Sunbasket, Factor 75, Fresh and Lean, Trifecta, Eat Clean Bro, and many more. So we're gonna be covering a lot of these services, and we're gonna be rating them from things like the value to the gains quotient is what we'll say, the selection, as well as the taste, of course. So I know it's hard to get in those protein macros, so this is gonna be covering what's good for not only putting on lean mass, but also for bulking as well. I'm Angel with The Modern Man. Let's get right into it. So before getting into Fresh and Lean, I really recommend, if you could swing it, trying out meal services, at least for their intro offers, which tend to be pretty good. They are fantastic, not only for the taste profile. For me, I'm really terrible at meal prep. I guess I could spend time and probably get better at it, but I get so lazy and I like having this ready. But another thing, I work for myself, so I love being able to, on some days where I'm really getting into it, just being able to grab food, put it in the microwave, heat it up, and it tastes good. It's not trash, it's got good macros, I'm getting my protein goals, I'm getting the right fat, the right carbs, everything. And it really helps me stay focused and get as much done as possible. Fresh and Lean, as the name implies, this service is great for keeping things on the leaner side. Here are the average macros that you could find in a meal, in the Protein Plus meal specifically. I can't say that I've tried things out of the Protein Plus section because I just really need the carbohydrates, and I really want something that's at least like 35 to 40 grams of protein as most of my meals, because it makes it that much easier to get my protein numbers for the day. I'm not gonna go through every dish, I'm just gonna scroll through so that you can see what some of the options are in the Protein Plus section. One of my favorite ones is the Béarnaise grass-fed steak with anything on the side. I think it tastes good. The meat is a little bit on the tough side, but it is just a good meal in general, especially when you add a little bit of salt and pepper. And for the taste-wise, my rating would be a 2 out of 5. Let's say that your standard meal prep is like a 1 out of 5, assuming that you're an average meal prepper, you don't put a ton of effort, you haven't read really fancy, nice recipes, you're not fantastic at cooking. So this is better than most people's meal prep, is what I would say. Most every meal I find needs a little bit of seasoning, so it needs some salt, needs some pepper, so that it'll affect the sodium numbers if that's something that you look at, but it's just something to keep in mind. I also really like the salmon dishes as well as the shrimp dish. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, so I'll circle it in the video. However, they have other things they offer like breakfast and snacks. We're mostly gonna be talking about entrees today, and frankly, I've tried a bunch of the breakfasts and I think that they're trash. So I think they're actually like worse than any breakfast that you can make yourself. So I think it's totally not worth it. For the selection, you've already seen it on the screen, but we'll give it about a 3 out of 5. I find that when you get into the Protein Plus section, the amount of options that you have isn't that great unless you're willing to compromise on things like carbohydrates, for example. For me, I just don't like eating meals that don't have at least like 30 carbs in them. So it just really eliminates a lot off the list for me, but that might not apply to you, so maybe the selection is actually better than a 3 out of 5 for you. For the value side of the house, pretty standard at about $11.50 per meal. One of the things I actually really like with Fresh and Lean is the referral service, and I'm notorious for just harassing my friends when it comes to any kind of referral program. For the intro offer on this, the baseline that you'll get is probably about 20% off. You get that from friend referrals. One of the great things I like on the value side is the referral program. So if you refer a friend, you actually get 40% off of your next box. So anytime I can refer someone, I am then purchasing Fresh and Lean because you're actually getting them at around $6.50 a meal, around that range. And your friend gets, I want to say 20% off. So I think it's probably better to look online for a different offer or see what they're running and see if you can get more than 20%, because that's about as low as they go in terms of the discounts that they do. For the gains rating on this, we are giving it a 4 out of 5. It's probably less than that if we're talking about bulking, just because when you're looking at meals that are under 500 calories, it becomes difficult to get your caloric intake when you're having to eat so many of these damn meals and you're gonna be burning a lot of cash as you do that. I do think this is great if you're trying to cut weight, lose weight, because they are very, very lean. They're not quite as lean if you just made your own like rice and chicken breast at home. And of course, if you're making chicken breast at home, I find that when I weigh it out, it's typically at least 60 grams worth of protein as opposed to say the 40 that you're getting from the meals. But overall, this is pretty good when you look into other meal services as far as the macros of what you're getting. So I definitely recommend this for someone who's looking for lean gains. I was losing weight pretty easily when I was eating mostly fresh and lean for about a month or two. As a side note, I love getting the 16-ounce burgers that they have. They are a little pricey, so I usually get it when I have that nice discount, but I think they taste really, really good. And as for the customer service of this company, I find that they messed up a good amount of things on a few of my orders, but the good thing is they always make it right and they're really easy to deal with versus some of the other services where you feel like you're talking to someone who has a pre-made script and they're not really listening to you. So they have always made it right whenever I've had an issue with them. Cook Unity. So what I really like about Cook Unity, which is, one is the taste, which we'll get into, but another one is the way that it was delivered. One, it was very, very pretty packaging that it came in, and it didn't have all this extra material and packaging with it, so I assume that it doesn't stay fresh for quite as long. But it came in a nice bag, nice little cartons, but what you normally get when you order these meal services, pretty much all of them, is you get a big cardboard box that has this insulation of like padding and a bunch of ice packs. And so if you live in, say, like a metropolitan type of city and you have a small apartment, it takes up a lot of space and you've got to wait for these ice packs to melt. It takes like a day for them to melt, and you've got all this trash, all these boxes that you got to get rid of. In my old apartment, I had to wait for a trash day, so it was a pain in the ass. It's just taking up space for a few days, and it was really just awful. So the big thing with Cook Unity is you're getting a bunch of different meals from different chefs, and it's like their specialty dishes. So on taste, oh man, 5 out of 5. So I would say anything after 5 out of 5, I guess, 6 out of 5, is like restaurant food. These are good. All the ones that I had, pretty much every single one was delicious. And since we've got the food pulled up, it is a 5 out of 5 on the selection as well, because you've got this food that's coming from all of these different chefs, so different ethnicities, different locations. So it's just so much variety to your heart's content that you will find something that you love in the service. So value-wise, we're giving it a 3 out of 5. So pretty standard as far as meal services go. We're looking at about $11 per meal. And it can add up because for certain meals you might want to add like a special sauce, and that sauce might cost extra, and that could tend to add up a little bit. The intro offer is pretty good. You get about 50% off, so half of $11,550, I guess. And if you are referring your friend, they get 50% off, so it's a good to take the referral on this service. Wow, 2 5 out of 5s and a 3 out of 5. This must be the best service. Let's get into the gains. It is a 1 out of 5. Stop it. So the average protein content I was finding on these meals was typically around low 30s to high 20s, and you have to really, really look for them. And the nutrition facts in general, I don't trust them whatsoever. It's almost like trying to eat healthy at a restaurant. You never know if they're doing any of the nutrition facts correctly or not. I ate a meal that had like 2 cups of rice, a good amount of meat, and then like this really rich sauce. And it was saying it was only 390 calories. There's no way that meal was 390. It was probably closer to like 650, maybe even 700. And because of that, it's just not reliable when you're looking for gains specifically. So this is the service to use if you're looking just for regular food that tastes really, really good. This is probably the best tasting meal service that I've had. So I would recommend it if that's what you're looking at it for. Oh, and the last note on Unity is because the selection is that 5 out of 5, it is difficult to choose your meals. You have all these meals from different chefs and they change every week. They're not the same thing every time or most every time. So you kind of have to spend time and look through these meals to see which ones you want, look at all the macros, and it can be time consuming. And so that was something that I wasn't a fan of when I was using the service. Hope you like what you're hearing so far. I'm curious, what's your favorite meal service and why? Is there something that I haven't listed in here that you think is better than some of the service here? Would love to hear it. Would appreciate any like and subscribe if you like the content so that you don't miss anything. We're gonna cover some interesting things in the next few months, so definitely appreciate that. Let's get to it. So Trifecta, really cool boxes. I saw it from their sponsorship of UFC. I don't know if that's still going on or not. We're gonna kind of go quickly through Trifecta because it is very, very similar to Fresh and Lean. In fact, if you took the branding off, I would think it was the exact same meal. I don't know if they get them from the same like manufacturer or place or whatever. The meals taste exactly the same as Fresh and Lean, so you'll have to add seasoning, salt, and pepper on pretty much everything. If you look at the ratings, they're all pretty much the same. I do think Trifecta has a little bit more variety in the food that's available at pretty good macros in terms of hitting around that mid-30s in protein and around 40 grams of carbs. They are more or less exchangeable. The intro offer is about the same too, so if you're gonna try Trifecta, make sure you're getting at least 40% off. You can get that from a friend referral, or they often run it on the front page of the website, but that's about as good as what I've seen stand. Next up is Factor 75, and I didn't realize how popular this service was until I moved into a bigger building and I started seeing how many of these boxes are coming in, and there's a reason that it's so popular. In terms of the gains, we're looking at around 40 plus grams of protein usually per meal. They are about 50 calories higher than a lot of the other services, so I tend to find most of the meals around 500, 510 in that range that I'm eating, and usually around mid-30s in terms of carbs. Taking a look at this one, we've got the shredded chicken taco bowl, looking at 530 calories, about 42 grams of carbs, 44 grams of protein, so this is a really good one for getting those gains in. Comes with a little bit of sauce. It looks kind of weird like this. And for most of these, by the way, if you're not sure how to cook them, almost all of them taste best if you just cook them in the microwave. I tried like the oven and an air fryer, different ways. That's the best way to do them, I find. Don't take it out of the original packaging either. But this is pretty much what it looks like. I've got a thing with corn. I don't know. I kind of like it, but I just don't like that you see it later. The taste rating for Factor, we're looking at about a 4, 4.5. The meals taste very good. They're clearly better than the other services like Trifecta and Fresh and Lean that I've mentioned so far. And I really like the sauces on these. I find with these meals, I don't often need to add too many type of spices and things. To some of the veggies, I might add a little bit of spices, but for the most part, it's very good as it comes. And if you want to spend a little bit extra, the premium meals are bonkers. I love the filet mignon with truffle butter sauce. God, it tastes like legit restaurant quality to me. Okay, I'm not a master at taking pictures, but I swear it's so tender and juicy and perfectly cooked. For selection, here's what you could see. We're giving it a 3.5 out of 5. It's better than Fresh and Lean, but it's not that much better. I would say it's pretty similar to Trifecta, and that's because you have the options of the protein and the carbs that we want to get. That really limits what you're looking at. For the value, pretty standard at about $11.50 per box. And of course, this, I think with all these services, they pretty much scale with how many that you're buying. Everyone should try Factor at least one time for this reason. The intro offer is bananas. It's 60 to 65% off is what you can get. But typically you have to dig around online to find the 65% off. But whenever I've used this, and I've used it on a couple of accounts admittedly, you get meals for I think about $4.15 per meal. So it's literally cheaper to do this than it is to go to the store and cook your food in most cases. It's fantastic. It's really not worth it to do the refer a friend program. You get $40 and they get $150 spread over a few weeks that they could use on their boxes. So it's not too steep of a discount for them. And the thing that sucks about that $40 is it doesn't stack with any other discounts. So if they ever give you like a retention promo or some sort of holiday promo, anything like that, you can't add it to the promo or use it to pay towards that. So I just don't find it that beneficial. For the gains, we are giving it a 4 out of 5, and here's why. So while the protein numbers tend to be higher and the calorie numbers tend to be higher, it is a little bit lower on carbs than some of the other services. I find this is a pretty good service for getting in the protein numbers pretty easily and your calories in a little bit easier. I think these are a bit more satiating than what I've had with Fresh and Lean, so it's good from that perspective. But all in all, they are about equal in terms of the gains, whether you're looking for lean or bulking. I tend to like this a little bit more for having a little bit extra calories built into my meals. Oh, and one little ding on Factor 75, their customer service is the most generic customer service, and they sound like they're reading lines to you. They don't give a shit what you say, and it's really difficult to get them to do much of anything if you need help with things. They're not really good at righting wrongs or any of that, so that's just one issue that I have with them. Now this last one, fantastic name. It's called Eat Clean Bro, and unfortunately if you're on the West Coast or the Midwest, it's not going to be available to you. It's primarily available in the Northeast. So think New York all the way down to Virginia, I believe, and a little bit to the west as well. Taking a look at the meals, you have quite a selection. So we're giving it a 4 out of 5. Whether you want meals that are a little bit heavier or really high in protein, you have all sorts of options for staying lean or bulking, what have you. For the taste, we're looking at about a 3.5 out of 5. You could think of this like if your meal prep was actually really good. Like if you did a really good job of cooking the food, that's what this tastes like, and preparing it and seasoning it and all of that. So it tastes pretty good. One of the things that I like about it from the taste profile is that the food is more fresh. So you're getting this and it doesn't come frozen. So that is naturally gonna mean the food probably tastes better. But the counter to that is it does not stay as long. So if you're trying to, something happens and you can't eat all of your food in a week, you will have some of it go bad a lot more easily than the other meal services. Value-wise, it's gonna take a little bit of a ding. We're looking at 2.5 out of 5, and that's because we're looking at about $13 per meal. It is fresher food and it does tend to have more protein, but it is more per meal, and some of them cost more than $13 as well. For the intro offer, you're typically able to get at least $20 off of a box, and that's how the Refer a Friend program works, is you give $20 and you get $20 off. What I like is they have a referral program, so the more you order, the cheaper things become. It starts off with about 3% off and it goes up to 6%. It's not a ton when we're talking about $13 meals, but every little bit adds up. For the gains rating, you're looking at the master of muscle, the sultan of swole, the god of gains. We're giving this a 5 out of 5 from the gains territory, which would make sense with a name like Eat Clean Bro. So this is fantastic, not only for putting on lean mass, but also for bulking as well, because of the vast selection of dishes that they have and the high protein content available. On the clean side, your average dish is about 470 calories with around 40 grams of protein. But if you want, you can go much higher on the protein content, much higher on the calorie content. There's just so many good options, whether you're looking for clean or more of bulking side of things. Two of the dishes that I particularly like is, and this goes into the selection, why I think the selection is great. Like, where are you gonna get chicken and ratatouille? It's $12.99, it's about 430 calories, 44 carbs, and 44 grams of protein. That is fantastic. My goodness, 44 grams of protein at 430 calories with a delicious meal. Another one, General Bros Chicken, 470 calories, 44 carbs, 48 whopping grams of protein. This makes it so easy to hit your protein numbers. Overall, it's a fantastic service that I highly recommend. I don't actually tend to use it just because I like to have the option of keeping my food around, and I find that when I use this, my food will go bad. But outside of that, is a fantastic service, and that's a plus if you like really fresh food that tastes a little bit better, so it's good for that. Just so you have it on screen, here are all the ratings for each service. All in all, for me personally, I honestly use whichever service I could find the best deal on. So if I'm able to get a referral or they're offering something good like retention, I'll order for that week or that month. Right now I've been ordering a lot of Factor 75, but I can be swayed to any service depending on the deal, because I find that most of them are pretty good. I don't really use Cook Unity, again, because the nutrition facts are so unreliable. And I don't know if it was fair to put it in these ones that are clearly about fitness and they're geared towards that type of person. I do have referral links for each one in the profile, but again, sometimes it's better to just use the offer that they're providing versus a referral link if you want to get the most bang for your buck. That wraps us up. Again, I highly recommend trying out a meal service, at least taking advantage of some of these initial intro offers. And they're so nice. If you could swing it for changing things up from what you normally eat, or saving a lot of time, especially if you are really busy throughout the day and you need all of the hours. It's so good for that. Anyways, drop a like, drop a comment. Really curious about what meal services you've tried, what you've used, what tastes good, and what kind of content you would like in the future. Hit the subscribe button. I'll catch you next time.